Cheers! Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It's that time of the year, once again, December 31st, and we're here to reflect on this amazing year that we have, and reflect on the music released this year. This is my, but might as well be our, favorite songs of 2024. The rules for this list have not changed. We are still considering only songs that were released in 2024. If it was a song in a 2023 album that was released as a single in 2023, we are not counting that. If it's a song that was released in 2024 as a single, we are not counting that. If it's a re-recorded version of a song, I don't think we have an example of it this year, but we had a couple of years ago, we don't count that. If it's a song that I had not heard the year before but that I heard for the first time in 2024, it does not count. And we are keeping it for one song per artist. Well, not even one song per album per artist, it's just one song per artist, in a way as to keep this a bit more diversified. So yeah, I think that's all the rules. If not, you can check my other videos of favorite songs, because really I haven't changed the rules ever since I started this list. So before we go to number 15, we are going to go through some honorable mentions. These are songs that I liked a lot. They were almost there, but not quite. They are in order, meaning that the last song I talk here is what would be a number 16. So, Hits by Megan Thee Stallion, Dancing and Crying by Kaiser, Crush by Katy Perry, Whiplash by aespa, You Sexual by FKA Twigs, Illusion by Dua Lipa, Nagadai by Polina Gagarina, Falta Coragem by Pablo Vittar and Tati Gal, La Playlist.mpeg by Emilia, What You Need by Joey Valence and Bra, He Knows by Camila Cabello and Lil Nas X, Fantasy by Jade, Lose Your Breath by Anita, and Joyride by Kesha. These were number 30 through 16th. And now at number 15, opening our list, Chihiro by Billie Eilish. After a couple of warm albums, Billie Eilish finally reminded me of why she was one of my favorite artists in 2018. Hit Me Hard and Soft is a fantastic and complete experience like I hadn't gotten since Don't Smile at Me, and no song is a better example of it than Chihiro. The production is insane, the melodies are enchanting, and her vocal performance is second to none in the entire album. It was my favorite song from it when I heard it, it's still my favorite song from the album right now, and it's my 15th favorite song of 2024. Number 14, American Requiem by Beyonce. You might be a little surprised by this one given my reaction to Cowboy Carter. I was not the biggest fan of it, as I have expressed in that video. A lot of it comes down to some cohesion issues I've had with the entire album, but I cannot deny two things about it. It was historic, and it was a landmark. And such a landmark of an album should open with a manifesto. It needed a strong opener. It needed to start with a bang. And so it did, all thanks to American Requiem. This is exactly the type of song I expected and wished had filled the entire album. It's powerful, it's strong, it's rich, it's complete, it's an experience unlike any other in the album, and unlike any other I ever had with a Beyonce album, a Beyonce song, with anything Beyonce related ever. Before I even listened to Cowboy Carter, I knew it needed a song like this for it to stand and did what Beyonce said the album should do, what Beyonce set out to do, and she did not disappoint. We may have gone through her entire country album without a single country number as great as Daddy Lessons was in Lemonade, but at least we got American Requiem, and honestly, in a lot of aspects, it's even better. Number 13, Guilty as Sin by Taylor Swift. If you're a fan of me, which if you're watching this video, I hope you are, then you know I was not the biggest fan of the Torture Poets department. It's an improvement over Midnight's, sure, but it's an improvement from a 5 to a 6. An 8 if you consider the anthology, which I do consider them separate entities for personal purposes. I listen to the anthology way more than I listen to the standard edition. Still, even when Taylor Swift makes an average album, she still manages to sneak in 1 or 2 songs that I find truly great. More often than not, these may be one of the best of the year in my opinion, which is the case here. Then again, that just might be because Taylor Swift was my favorite artist for so long, ever since my late teenagehood up until like this year or probably last year. Nonetheless, Guilty as Sin is a song I dismissed when I first heard the album, and it's grown a lot in me after I listened to it a couple more times. The melodies are charming, the lyrics are scarily relatable, and her vocal performance is commendable. One of the strongest among an album that is, in general, more chill and contemplative, and less gritty and loud than other pop efforts of hers like Lover and 1989. Not that I have any problem with that in albums like Folklore and Evermore, but I like my pop music to be loud and fiery, thank you very much. Which, in retrospect, is probably why I enjoyed the anthology more than the standard edition of the album. Still, Guilty as Sin shines bright as a gem among the dirt that we can find across other songs of the album, and it's well deserving of its placement on this list. At number 13, nonetheless, I'm sure Taylor would appreciate that. Number 12, Do You Feel Aurora? There is not a single album of Aurora's I hear that I do not think, wow, this is the best one yet. But I really do strongly believe What Happened to the Heart is Aurora's best album so far. So strong, so complete, so well sung, produced and written, but above all, so versatile. And among all the incredibly versatile songs, one managed to stand out the most to me, and that's Do You Feel. Do You Feel is unique, as most songs of hers are, to be honest, but it is unique in a different sense. I have managed to dance to some of Aurora's songs before, but not to this degree. Not to the degree of bodily exhaustion and joy that this one led me. I was in awe of all the elements she managed to put in the song and how she managed to create such a noisy, confusing, muffled, and packed atmosphere while still being incredibly cohesive within itself and within the album. We pay a lot of attention to Aurora the singer, Aurora the songwriter, and yes, she's a great writer and an outstanding vocalist. I'm not here to take those things away from her, but I think we should really start giving her flowers as one of the best producers out there in pop music right now. And if you ask me, Do You Feel is a prime example of her talent as a producer. And if we haven't started giving her flowers already, I think this is a good place and a great time for us to start. Number 11, Good Luck Babe by Chappell Roan. One of the things I did in 2024 that I should have done last year was listening to Chappell Roan and her debut studio album, The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess. As you probably know by now, I was not its biggest fan. Although my initial impression of it is not reflective of how I currently feel about it, it hasn't grown enough to really motivate me to considering it one of the best of the year or anything. Although it was released in 2023, it gained more prominence in 2024 than in the year it was released. However, there is one song of Chappell's that I think is absolutely one of the best of the year, and that's Good Luck Babe. And it was released this year, so extra points for that. And a lot comes down to her vocal performance. What an enthralling vocal performance she delivers in this song. There are so many raw emotions conveyed in such angelic vocals, and I think it's the perfect mix between these opposites that creates this idea of being at peace with oneself, as well as a tinge of grief and sorrow and a lot of other feelings that you can hear in her voice as she sings the lyrics. Because it's not just vocally, the lyrics are great, the melody is perfect, and the production. I really hope her next album leans harder into this Wham-esque sort of 80s inspired production, because that I think is going to solve a lot of the issues I had with Rise and Fall. Pretty please, Chappell, do that for me, will you? From one gay to another. Number 10, Cry For Me, Magdalena Bay. Another interesting album I heard this year was Magdalena Bay's Imaginal Disc. Although I am sure I did not like it as much as most people did, there is one thing I cannot possibly deny about it. And that's Cry For Me. Well, that's two things, but I'll mention the other one later on. Cry For Me is one of the best songs released in 2024. It's one of the songs released in 2024 that reached the closest to pop perfection. The intro is my favorite of the year, and it's not even a competition. The way it is announced, like the gates of heaven were opened, the way it builds so entrancingly that it might as well be building inside of you, because I felt it inside of me. And finally, the way it releases into what is definitely one of the year's 5 best productions in a pop song is absolutely unmatched. It's probably the best minute of any song released this year. Even better than other songs that are above this one in my list. Might even be better than a minute in my number 1 song of the year. If the rest of the song was more like the intro, with maybe dragged the final verse a little shorter, or if the outro and post-choruses had a little more punch, or the song had some shifts in production towards the end, I am sure it would have been number 1, or at the very least a top 3. As it is though, it opens my top 10, which in my opinion is a good enough position for an artist I had no idea existed for. Number 9, Dame Beso / Muévete by Kali Uchis. Kali Uchis. She's always managing to surprise me with a Latin pop album basically every year since I started this channel. But she has managed to completely amaze me with Dame Beso Muévete, the closing track of her Orquídeas album. What an experience! No, really, what a journey! There is nothing like listening to it beginning to end when you're feeling down. It gets you up and going in a second, less than that in fact. The fusion of rhythms and styles and the seamless transition between the two halves of the song are the cherry on top of Orquídeas, which is already a great album by itself. It's fun, it's catchy, it's relatable, it makes you feel good, it's intoxicating. It's my 10th favorite song of the year. Sorry, it's my 9th favorite song of the year, because now we jump into number 8, which is Juno by Sabrina Carpenter. And let me tell you, this was the hardest one to get. And even as I speak right now, I am not sure if I got it right. Short and Sweet is such a cohesive album, that is, it's filled with bangers, that to pick just one of them for the entire list was a task worthy of Sisyphus. All throughout November, as I was beginning to gather the list and think about what I would write about each song at the end, I always had this rock in my shoe. Short and Sweet. What song from Short and Sweet to pick? Regardless, all of them would have scored at this very place at number 8, so I figured I should just pick one of them to represent the album and go with it. Jokes apart, Juno is an adorable song about a relatable topic, even for me, with a very catchy hook, and it's already making a mark in pop culture with the June poses she's doing at tour. We love to see it and listen to it, as well as 7 other songs from the album, all of which I'll mention in just a moment. Number 7, So American by Olivia Rodrigo. Last year we had All American Bitch, the best song of her career in my opinion, making it to the top 5 of my year-end list. This year we have this one, my favorite song of hers ever, and easily the strongest one out of the 5 she released from Guts Spilled. Most of it does come down to her vocal performance and carefree melody that gives me a sense of being a teenager, more so than any other song she ever released before, be it in Guts Spilled, in Sour, or in Guts, the standard version. And I have the feeling that she wasn't even trying to do this with this one. Nonetheless, I think the energy So American exudes is breathtaking throughout its execution, all the way from its late 2000s, early 2010s pop rock production down to its lyrics. And on a personal note, after having heard everything Olivia Rodrigo had to endure in her past relationships and Sour, and even some reminiscence of it in Guts. I am so happy this is the kind of song she can now write about. Here's hoping that her next album brings us more songs like this one, sonority and theme-wise, because it's about time we stop crying about what we did in our teenage years. Trust me, Olivia, I'm also 22. Number 6. Disease, Lady Gaga. That Gaga was capable of delivering one of the best pop songs of the year, we all knew. But that this would be Disease, the daughter of Born This Way with art pop, well, that was something I could have only dreamt of when she announced the album. Disease has the best outro I heard in a song of Gaga's ever, and by far the best and my favorite outros of the year. The absolute madness she descends into in the end is unmatched, as her voice soars and cuts through highs and lows of crazy runs and growls as she begs, because at this point she's not even saying anymore, to cure her lover's disease. And don't even get me started on the music video, because that's a whole performance on its own. By the way, I do not rank music videos here, but I do believe they are one and the same, so some songs here have been influenced by their music videos as well. I was quick to crown this one her best lead single since Applause 11 years ago, with a possibility of reconsideration it to the best lead single since Born This Way, until I found out that the actual lead single of the album was Die With A Smile, a good duet released with Bruno Mars this year. Nevertheless, it's still enough to get me more excited than I already was for LG7, which is coming in February. Needless to say, we'll be here to listen to it and hope that it will have one of the best songs of 2025. After what Chromatica did, I think it just might be the best album of the year as a whole. And it's not even out yet. Number 5, Good As Gone, Kylie Minogue. Hotter, better, stronger, and faster than ever, Kylie Minogue decided to surprise us this year with Tension 2, the second part of her 2023 album Tension, which I had no idea was even a part 1. Tension spawned the most viewed video in this channel so far, which is my reaction to Padam Padam, my favorite song of 2023, which I heard slightly over 500 times already. Now, here she is, once again, with Good As Gone, a song so good that, if it had been in Tension, could have made me question my bias towards Padam. There is not much to say here that I haven't addressed in my reaction to Tension 2. The song is pretty much perfect. The bass is ridiculously hot, the strings are insanely entrancing, and the way she mixes her vocals, goes high or low when she wants to, and controls the beats. She makes little pauses before every chorus and a big one after the first chorus that is just... It's hard to find words for it because it's in comparison. I haven't said this and will not say this about any other song this year because there really is no other song like it. It's as unique as Kylie Minogue is. Most likely my new favorite artist of all time. All thanks to you guys, to the channel, and of course to her outstanding body of work which keeps growing and growing. Here's to hoping that it may grow a little more this year, because I think one album per year by Kylie Minogue can never be a bad thing, right? Number 4, The Boy Is Mine, Ariana Grande. Ariana Grande managed to give me the sexiest song of the year, and among all things I expected from Eternal Sunshine, Being Seduced was not at all among them. The Boy Is Mine knocks every other song from its album way out of competition with an incredible melody, with this dragged out production, and the boy is mine hook into the chorus with just the right amount of spacing between each word to scratch something in my brain that is just ugh. Ariana, God willing, you're well on your way to winning an Oscar for Wicked, and I know you said you intend to slow down your music career and focus on acting, and as an Arianator since 2016, I support you through and through. I'll be right by your side, buying your tickets, going to see your films, just as I did Wicked. But you know, should you consider coming back? Should you consider, doing some more musician things. Could you please maybe consider giving us more songs like this? Please, 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 please. Really, really. This, when people say, oh, R&B on this, R&B on that, we shouldn't be thinking of positions. We shouldn't be thinking of sweetener. We should be thinking of The Boy Is Mine, because that is R&B on. Number 3, Make Your Mind, Madison Beer. What a year for new artists this one was. So many artists I had never heard of that I got to listen for the first time, and so many others I had heard very little of that I got to listen with more attention. In both cases, artists that were so great that their songs managed to rank among my favorites of the year. Madison Beer falls into the second category. I knew who she was, of course. I had seen her being commented on across social media, and I even knew her career from a distance. I knew how long it was, how many albums she had. I even knew titles. Life Support. That was a title I heard. No, Life Support by Madison Beer. But I had never stopped to listen to her music. I had never listened to a single song of hers. If not entirely, maybe I had never heard of it at all. I didn't know what she sounded like. That was until Make Your Mind come along. When it came along, I listened to it, probably on TikTok, which is the place I get the most contact with music, and what a coming this was. Something about that melody in the verse and the production in the post-choruses just do it so well for me. They call me to the song like very few other songs released this year do, and they just make me want to be a part of it. I am always intoxicated by her altered vocals that go so well with the overall vibe of the song and combined with the synth in the outro. By the way, the outro, a good third of the music, because this song doesn't have a bridge. It's just a talent of its own, I would say. Lots of people say that you should create great bridges, but if you create a great outro, in my opinion, you don't even need a bridge. That's the case for Make Your Mind. It repeats the chorus enough times that you wouldn't feel the song is incomplete, while still not being enough to fully satisfy you, so that you must listen to it again and again. And after months already of listening to it on repeat, you know, I don't think I've gotten enough of it either. I might need to listen to it a couple more times. Number 2, Guess, Charli XCX. This year was Charli XCX's year. No question whatsoever about that. Brad Summer took the world by storm. Not just music, the world as a whole. Music, fashion, the news, politics. There is no sphere of human interaction that wasn't somehow affected by Brad. And it's not just influential, it's also great. Amazing. The best album of the year in my opinion. And my favorite. Although I could have put 365 here to homage the original Brat without too much trouble, it would still be my second favorite song of the year. There is one other song from Brat era that gets a slight advantage over it. Guess, the original version, not the remix with Billie Eilish. Nothing against the remix, it's just not the original version in my opinion. If this song doesn't make you feel Brat, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe Brad is just not for you. This song is empowering, it's sexy, it's a tour de force. Its production is not just catchy, although it definitely is that. It's inspiring, life-changing, unique. It's a lifestyle, it's a new way of walking, of talking, of feeling. That's what Brad is all about, right? I know it's not just about the music, and I have just said that, but if it is mostly about the music because it's an album, then I can't help but feel like Guess is the Brat song. After all, it's what makes me feel Brat. Now we have the honorary entries. These are the songs that could be here were it not for the fact that the artists who sing them were already featured. Unlike the honorable mentions, which were ranked, these are in no particular order, it's just a list, I'm gonna read them. So we have Te Mata by Caliuchis, Espresso, Please Please Please, Bad Camps, Lim Pickens, Coincidence, Good Graces and Taste by Sabrina Carpenter. I told you, it was hard to pick just one. So High School, Chloe, Sam, Sophia, or Marcus and Fortnite, featuring Post Malone by Taylor Swift. by And We Can Be Friends by Ariana Grande, and Yes and Remix by Ariana Grande and Mariah Carey, Ya Ya by Beyonce, Von Dutch, Talk Talk and 365 by Charlie XCX, Imagine by Magdalena Bay, Kiss Bang Bang or Taboo by Kylie Minogue, Obsessed by Olivia Rodrigo, and Diet Pepsi by Addison Rae. Addison Rae? Is Addison Rae even in this list? Oh yeah! My number one, my favorite song of 2024 is Aquamarine by Addison Rae. Listen, if you're as shocked that this is my number one pick for 2024, I can guarantee you're not more shocked than I am. If you had asked me on January 1st that Addison Rae was going to release the best song of the year, I would have stared you seriously into your eyes and I would have said, who? I had no idea who Addison was before she released Diet Pepsi, which already sat comfortably in my top 10 favorite songs of the year, until she absolutely knocked it out of the park, blew her competition, annihilated any other song, even Gas, with Aquamarine. And let me tell you, it's not even a competition. As I said, I thought Gas was safe at number one once I listened to it 100 times, over 100 times in a month. But I listened to Aquamarine 100 times in 2 weeks. It's been my most listened to song in October, and it was released at the end of October, in November, and now in December as well. Combined, I have listened to it over 200 times, and it's only been 2 months and and a half basically. If you ask me right now, Vicente, what exactly about Aquamarine is that managed to captivate you so much? I don't think I would be able to answer you, but I know it goes beyond mere technical aspects. I could talk about the lyrics, the siren-like melodies, the best production of the year, the enchantress she becomes in the bridge, the way everything sounds oceanic, the best choreography in a music video probably ever since Lady Gaga did choreography in the early 2010s, the way, everything sounds in a way as to pull you inside the song, and even that fucking triangle at the end. But it's not that. It's not just that for me. It's something mystical. It's something beyond a mere physical experience. What I feel when I listen to it is impossible to describe. It's really, truly, entirely outer body. It's unique in the year. It's unique for myself as someone who loves music, and I just love it so much for it. I can't describe it. I have tried. I am trying right now, but I can't describe it. I can, however, act upon it, and my action is to crown this my favorite song of 2024. My favorite song of the year, my number one, Aquamarine by Addison Rae. Well guys, I believe that was it for 2024. That was it for this video. On a personal note, I would really like to thank you guys for the year. It was an amazing year. It wasn't as busy a year for the channel as I wished it had been. Due to some personal difficulties, I couldn't record as much as I wanted. I couldn't listen to as many artists as I had hoped. There were some releases I managed to let it slip, and I am sorry for it. I am sorry for not, dedicating as much time as I possibly could. But as I'm getting closer towards the end of college, I'm starting to think, of graduating. I'm graduating not next year, but the year after that. I need to start thinking about, PhDs, master's degrees, maybe possibilities of going abroad. So, the tendency is that things might slow down, unfortunately. But we did reach 1,000 subscribers this year, and I am so thankful for it. It's way more. I had dreamt of getting that. I had dreamt of being a famous YouTuber when I was a kid, and even, before the channel started when I was a teenager. But I didn't think I would do it. I think a reaction channel, especially music reaction, is such a packed area. There are already so many people doing it, so many great people doing it, that I don't know what managed to seduce 1,170 people into my channel to listen to what I have to say, to listen to music with me, to experience this with me, to help me discover so many artists and expand my music view of the world. But I am grateful for it in ways I don't think I can describe. So yeah, that was it for today, you guys. That was it for this year, you guys. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. If you've got any other requests, please tell me. I'll be more than thrilled to react to them, as I always am. I do hope to see you in my next video next year, or maybe already this year, depends on where you're watching. I love you. Happy New Year to you, to your family. Bye.